Come on, guys, let's go fishing.
All right.
Hey, Brent, there's already one down here.
Come on, Brent. Should we try to catch a fish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's down this way.
Hi, I'm Bob Jensen. This is Fishing the Midwest. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be chasing largemouth bass today in the northwest corner of Iowa. You know, every year, fishing tackle manufacturers create some new products. Today we're going to be fishing with a new line called Nanofil. We'll be with Clay Norris and Joe Meyer. We'll be catching largemouth bass and talking a little bit about how you can catch more fish with Nanofil. Here we go. Every year, fishing tackle and marine manufacturers introduce new products that are going to make our fishing better, and sometimes they do. I started using a new line from Berkeley last spring called Nanofil. I could tell right away that Nanofil was different. I used it on a walleye trip to Lake Winnebagochish early in the year and noticed that it was very sensitive, provided outstanding hook sets, and its casting characteristics were unbelievable. I knew right away that I needed more information about Nanofil, and I knew the guys that could provide that information. Clay Norris and Joe Meyer. They're involved in developing new fishing lines for the Berkeley company. Clay and I have shared a boat in South Dakota chasing walleyes and in Minnesota in pursuit of bass. Clay fishes good. This was my first trip with Joe. He'd been catching largemouth bass pretty good on West Lake Okoboji, a clear, deep lake in northwest Iowa. Learning more about this new Nanofil line was a good reason to go fishing, but in reality, just going fishing was a good reason to go fishing. We're throwing power worms along a weed line. Clay hooked up first.
It's right here by this point, I think.
About 13 feet deep there, Clay. That's a nice one.
Ah, there we are.
There you go.
Okay, so and you're using like a
On the power worm.
Good.
There it is.
That's a nice one. He was in about 13 feet of water.
Yeah, just caught him right off that point. Felt him good with the Nanofil. Nice power worm.
Good start. Then Clay did it again.
Oh, look at that guy, Clay.
Yeah. Right off the weeds again.
He was, wasn't he? He was.
Feisty guy. Always better right-handed.
What color is that?
This is that tequila sunrise.
I think it's the red shad.
The red shad, I'm sorry.
We continued to fish around. We tried more weed lines and docks and all sorts of stuff, but we couldn't find any more willing to bite our worms. Clay must have caught every bass in the lake that wanted to eat a worm. Joe suggested we tie on crankbaits and just start covering water. That was a good idea. When the fish don't want to eat, just keep moving. If you put your bait in front of enough fish, you almost always will find some willing to eat, and we did. A little better one. But we need, I can swing him. A little bigger.
Hey Bob, what'd you get that on?
I got it on that gold shiner flicker shed. He's not as big as I thought he was. He's not as big as he thought he was. Okay, he was out there right in the edge of that weed line. Right in the edge. Then I got a walleye to eat my bait. You got a net there, Clay?
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Nice.
Whoa, he thinks he's a bass.
Oh, it's a bass.
Look at that.
It's a walleye.
That walleye, 6 feet of water. Right up there in 6 feet of water he hit.
There we go.
Look at that. He hit that same color flicker shad, kind of like a gold shiner. Clay, that's a pretty nice walleye, isn't it?
That is.
Nothing wrong with that. Clay, we're using Nanofil, and I've heard it's not monofilament, it's not superline. What is it?
Well, Bob, you're right. I mean, it's not a mono and it's not a braid, but we do use the same raw material that we use to make our Berkeley superlines. It's called Dyneema, the world's strongest fiber, but it's a whole process, a brand new process that's taken us 7 years in product development to perfect. We take these tiny little Dyneema fibers, There's hundreds of them, even in like the 10-pound or 12-pound line we're using today. And we link them together molecularly and shape them into a line that feels like a monofilament. So it's got some of those characteristics, but then it's also got the characteristics of a braid.
It's a beautiful fall day and the bass are biting. When we come back, we'll catch some more. Stay tuned. These folks make the products that will help you catch more fish. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Gulp Alive, looks, feels, tastes alive. Northland Fishing Tackle, the fisherman's favorite. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. Crankbaits are a great way to catch fish, and largemouth bass today are really eating our crankbaits. Here we go.
There's one.
There you go, Clay.
I don't think it's super big.
It's fish.
But you know, you got to catch some of these to catch some of the bigger ones, right?
That's right.
This one will be big someday.
We're throwing number 7 flicker shad crankbaits. These have become the go-to crankbait for lots of anglers. Let's take a quick trip to Berkeley's lab for some flicker shad information.
When we designed these baits for walleye, we absolutely hit a home run designing 4 baits with specific actions for walleye fishing. Now what we found out is a lot of the bass anglers are really loving these baits and they're catching more fish. So unaidedly, these guys are telling us that these aren't just catching walleye, these are catching a lot of other species, specifically largemouth bass. So when it's designing a crankbait, regardless of the species, it's all about catch more fish.
The best color flicker shad today was that black gold sunset color. But color preferences will change daily, even hourly. If they don't want what you're using, use something else. Oh, there's a fish. Whoa.
Oh, good deal.
Whoa, I don't know what that is. Net?
Net?
Yeah, net.
You get the net.
Oh, largemouth. You know, I can swing him. I can swing him.
You can swing him.
Boy, he whacked it though. You know, I really do like to use the net with these crankbaits because there's a lot of hooks on crankbaits, you know? This is a little better one.
Yeah.
Well, you're the master.
And you know, with Fireline and Nanofil, you get good hook sets because the line doesn't stretch, and the fish always feel bigger right away, don't they? I mean, they just feel bigger because there is no stretch. You're just locked into that guy. Clay mentioned it took 7 years to develop Nanofil. Developing a new fishing line doesn't happen overnight. Joe explains the process.
It's been since 2004 it actually started, and it was a conjunction between us and DSM, Dyneema people, of creating, and the goal was to create a smooth, strong, round product with zero stretch and the ultimate in sensitivity. And it took a long time because doing that was not an easy task. It took both companies working at it. In fact, there was a period in there where we quit for about a couple of years because it just got tough. Things just weren't coming together. And then about 3 years ago, we resurrected it again, a little renewed focus at it, and the product you have is what we got here today. It's wonderful. It has all those attributes.
So Joe, if it's not monofilament, how is it different from monofilament?
Bob, it's different from a monofilament for the fact that it has zero stretch, basically zero stretch. They say it'll have 2%, but monofilament has between 25 and 30% elongation. Kind of feels like a rubber band. This has zero stretch, so you have the ultimate in sensitivity. I mean, you'll feel every little tick and bump. You were mentioning earlier, you're trolling along in your bait, you can feel the bait hit the rocks and then change to gravel. And that's how sensitive this stuff is.
Okay, so it's not like monofilament, it's not like Fireline either. How is it different from Fireline?
Actually, it's different because a monofilament is more of a, it's a nylon. This is still made out of gel spun polyethylene, which is that super strong material. Fireline is braided. This is not braided. That's why this is so smooth. It's the braiding structure that gives you a little bit more coarser structure, or coarser surface of it. This being as smooth and not braided is why it feels and acts like a monofilament, however it's not.
Here's how we're presenting our crankbaits. You know, it doesn't always work out this way, that the wind is blowing exactly right. We've got kind of a weed flat right here, and we're just drifting parallel to the weed flat, and we're letting the wind push us along, and we're all casting, you know, to different depths. I'm casting to the edge of the weeds. Clay is casting a little bit deeper in the edge of the weeds as Joe is casting a little bit deeper in the edge of the weeds. And that way we're covering a wide variety of water. And with these flicker shed, we can just work this area really quickly and really effectively. We're all using different color crankbaits to see if the fish show a preference. Boy, when those fish bite on no stretch line, you really feel it. We'll feel some more when we come back. The Fishing the Midwest fishing team uses and appreciates the efforts of these people. Abu Garcia for life. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Freybill, trusted gear since 1938. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. The bass are biting and the weather is beautiful. Let's get back out there. The 12-pound test Nanofil does a nice job with crankbaits. When the fish hit, because of the no stretch quality, you get a really good hook set. I started using Abu Garcia Veritas rods last year and really like them. The 6-foot, 6-inch, or 7-foot medium action is perfect for throwing crankbaits and for setting a hook. A mid-size Abu Garcia or Fluger spinning reel will perform nicely with this setup.
Yeah, you can set the hook from a great distance well with Nanofil, can't you?
That's the advantage, isn't it? Let's net this one, Clay.
You need a net for that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a little bit bigger. Not much, but I just...
Oh, it's a nice fish, Bob.
I can swing. I can swing.
You got him?
I got him.
Yeah, that's a better fish.
Yep. Yeah, that was all the way out there, and I got a really good hook set because this line just does not stretch.
Yeah, with the no stretch attribute of Nanofil, I mean, it kind of hooks itself on a distance like that. With, other lines, you really wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, they just feel so much bigger on that Nanofil because it doesn't stretch. I'm gonna get him back in the water. In clear water, and when you want to cover a large area quickly, long casts are necessary. And Nanofil certainly enables us to throw baits a long way.
You were pointing out earlier, Bob, another advantage is we need to cover lots of water today. I mean, the fish are scattered, obviously. So with Nanofil, the amazing thing about it, and what everybody remarks about, is how far it casts. And you had that way out there, and we're drawing fish in from a wide, it hit it pretty close to the boat, but who knows how far that fish was trailing it.
Nanofil is a different line, and it requires you tie a different knot. Here's what I mean. Clay, Nanofil is different. You've got to tie the right knot to really get maximum efficiency out of it, don't you?
Yeah, Bob, absolutely. I mean, at the very least, you have to tie a polymer knot. It's got to be a knot that doesn't slip. And then we came up with a knot called the Nanofil knot, which is essentially a double polymer. But Joe and his team have been working on another knot that actually has been suggested by our international folks. And Joe, what about that knot?
Well, actually, when we were over to Europe, one of our coworkers over there from Denmark had come up with this. He'd been playing with knots as well, so we've deemed it the steam knot, but we'll probably call it something else. But it's Steen Knudsen from over there, and it's like our trilene knot, but not quite. Because if you do a standard trilene knot, it'll pull out with Nanofil. But this knot gives you about a 45% increase in knot strength over a single Palomar knot.
If you want the best advice available for selecting outdoor products, Cabela's is where you need to go. We're off to Rogers, Minnesota. Tucker, when you come to a Cabela's store, you look around and there's all sorts of different types of clothing. There's something for everybody. What are these?
These are our ladies' Gore-Tex bibs. And these have the Gore-Tex in them. It allows them to be completely waterproof, but also breathable. So you're not going to have a lot of sweat buildup. They have 100 grams of thin slate, so they'll keep you plenty warm. They also have a Cadora nylon reinforced in the knees, ankles, and also in the tush for durability. They have a zipper that runs from the ankle all the way up to the knee, and that allows you to get over your boot really easily. And then they also, as an added feature, they put in gaiters, and this is going to go over your boot, keep the snow from coming up. These are our ladies' Cabela's bibs, and they're available only at Cabela's. Stop on by and see us.
Those Cabela's guys really know their stuff when it comes to products that will make your outdoor activities more enjoyable. They have all the newest stuff that will help me enjoy my fishing and outdoors even more. And today we're really enjoying our fishing action. As the day got later and the sun got lower in the sky, the bass moved over the tops of the weeds. We worked our baits so they just ticked the tops of the weeds, and we kept on catching bass. What is that? Oh, this might be a bigger fish.
Yeah,
That is a nicer fish.
Yeah. I'll need the net with this one.
Yeah, go get the net.
Oh, nice bass.
Whoa!
There we go. That's
Nice, we're looking for it. Oh, he's just barely hooked. Just barely, there, okay, great.
Wowzer. That's what we came for, Bob.
There.
There we are.
That's the one I just missed.
That's a good looking fish.
Oh, man. As that sun goes down and it gets a little darker, they move shallower. That guy was strong. He was just strong. He's, you know, not that big, but he was strong. You know, the equipment you choose can have a big impact on the number of fish you catch. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about equipment. Stay tuned. For more fishing success, check out these outstanding products. WalleyeCentral.com. More walleye information than you can handle. Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters. Nanofil, the next generation in fishing line. Northwest Iowa has some great fishing opportunities. Let's get back out there and take advantage of some of those opportunities.
Good fish, Bob?
Yeah,
I'll take them.
you know,
Yeah, we will.
it's okay. Absolutely. Next, a little northern pike bit. Not a big fish, but a pretty good idea about trading your bait after catching a pike.
I think you're just scooping them all up.
Oh, northern pike.
Well, still fish.
Northern pike.
It's a little bigger than the ones we were catching earlier.
You know, I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but after I catch a northern, what I like to do, they got that little smell about them, you know? I like to just spray my bait down a little bit. You know, just to see, you know, just to make sure. I don't know if the northern bothers, the smell bothers the bass and walleyes. I know that this will eliminate that factor. I like to spray those crankbaits after catching a northern. All this fishing is making me hungry. Adam Sorensen from Dakota Grills has an idea for taking care of that hunger.
And today we are trying a new recipe for northern pike. Here's the northern. That's been in the freezer for a while. It should be good. We've got a little bit of butter we're going to put on it. We've got some pineapple. Not a lot. We got a lemon. This is a one whole lemon that's been squeezed. And I also saved a little bit of zest from the lemon. We got a little bit of jalapeno. That's about 1/4 of a jalapeno, chopped fine. And we got a little garlic. That's 1 clove of garlic. And the first thing we're going to do is make kind of a boat out of the tin foil. The foil will be primarily to hold the butter in. And we're going to load this thing up with spices so you can use quite a bit. Then we're going to put the butter on. Just lay them on top. They'll melt down. Okay, so we got our butter. Let's put the pineapple on next. I'm just going to kind of evenly distribute this. Next, we're going to kind of mix this stuff together. This is the lemon zest, the jalapeno, and the garlic. Just mix it together because I don't have a lot of them. Okay. And we'll try to evenly distribute it. There are two ways you can do this. You can do it by time or by probe. Whenever I have a probe handy, I do it by probe because it eliminates all variables. Just stick it in and you're good to go. Now we'll just close the lid. We'll turn it on. And once again, we'll set it at about 320. Plug the probe in. And anytime I do fish, I like to set the probe temperature for about 130 degrees because it's going to overshoot quite a bit. Fish really tends to overshoot because it's very thin. And that's it. We'll let it grill to perfection and we'll tell you how it tastes in a minute. Looks like the Northern just got done. So let's open it up and see what we got. I'm gonna flake some off here. Let's see how it looks. Looks very good. And I can't resist, I have to try some. Grilled to perfection.
Those Dakota grills are so easy to use, they're a great product. Now back to another great product, Nanofil fishing line. I used Nanofil a lot last year with great results. There are still times when I like Trilene XT or Trilene Sensation better, and other times when I like Fireline. But many of today's anglers employ a wide variety of fishing tactics. If you match a line's characteristics to the fishing tactic, you'll be more successful in the water. And success in the water is what we're looking for. When sensitivity, no stretch, and casting distance are desired, Nanofil is the line to go with. When you're in the Iowa Great Lakes area, you can't beat the Arrowwood for lodging and eating. The rooms are clean and spacious, and the food in Minerva's is outstanding. There's lots of parking, you're close to the boat ramp, the Arrowwood is just a great place to stay. Check it out. You know, I had the opportunity to use Nanofil line quite a bit this year, and for many fishing situations, it really does a very, very, very nice job. Hey, for all of us at Fishing the Midwest, thanks for stopping by. Be nice to one another. We'll see you again next time.